Hey, how's it going, everybody? Before I show you guys all the Atari computer stuff that I got from my buddy Jim for 30 bucks yesterday, nice score on his behalf, even if I did have to do a lot of cleaning. Which on that, I got two computers, both of the same type. One of them I just cleaned a little bit just to show you how nasty everything was, and then the other one I pretty much cleaned up, other than a few marks here and there that I got to really go over with a magic eraser. Hence, magic erasers are awesome. I mean, these things were so dirty that I thought they'd been baking in the sun or whatever, where it was discolored. It was just layered on dirt, man, just from sitting in the garage forever. So anyways, before I show you guys that, got a cool Goodwill find that I picked up a few days ago, and gave the outside a wipe down, but I definitely have to open it up and just give everything a really good cleaning on this, because it kind of half-ass works, but it does work. And something made by Commodore that I had no clue that they did this. This has got to be mid or late 70s on this, before they came up with their computers like the VIC-20 and the 64 and whatnot. Anyways, this is a vintage Commodore C8 desktop calculator. Get it fired up. What's weird on this is it shows, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It shows 8 zeros across the center, but every time I turn it on, it moves the decimal point to a different spot. So I think it's once you start using it, it figures out whatever. It's just weird that it does that. It's never in the same place. Otherwise, nice bright orange LED there. Cleaned up a little. Come on, nice and bright. Nothing's fried on that. The only problem I'm having with it so far is on the power switch. Last few attempts it's turned on, but I have had it to where it wouldn't turn on, which tells me that's got some crud in there, so sometimes it doesn't make good contact. Same thing on all the buttons here. They need to be cleaned up good. It's really got to mash them. Kind of like the Commodore computer that I got. I have to do the same thing on that. Open it up and clean all of those keys. So that should get this back to working good. And I haven't looked it up too much. I just got on eBay to see what the value is, which couldn't find this cream colored one. They also have this in black, and that's what I found. Was a couple black ones, and one of the people wanted like 35 bucks for it. So not a real big find on vintage calculators, but just cool to have a Commodore calculator. So this definitely go on my desk once I get it all fixed up good. Now, onto the stuff. Show you guys the games first. Got a nice handful of games and then a little bit of software, which one of the programs is usable, the other one's not usable. As in, one thing that I got in the way of hardware, it's foobar, so it's just going to be for show. Nice. And on that $30 price, after looking these games up, just the games alone, more than pay for what I got. I was surprised on the value of these, because never know with these Atari games. Okay, that's for a program. Okay, the rest of them were ones I had already. Anyways, got 5 games. A couple by Parker Brothers here. Qbert. Label's not in the most beautiful condition, but it's on there, so good enough. Yeah. Not a bad version of Qbert. It looks pretty damn good for an 8-bit game. Then this one, I think I either have this on ColecoVision or the 2600. And what's cool about this game, it's a total ripoff of the old arcade game Moon Patrol. but it's James Bond. So anyway, it's got James Bond 007. So pretty cool game. Basically the same thing. And instead of being in the little moon rover or whatever, you're in one of his cars, I think the DeLorean or something, cruising around, and you got this craft that flies by, drops bombs to make the craters, and same thing as Moon Patrol, you got to speed up and jump over the craters and then shoot stuff that's flying around at the same time. So definitely a game worth picking up. And those two are going for like around 15 and up, which to me is pricey. I mean, they're pretty common games, but these ones here, I was finding for like 25 and up. It can't be just the games. It's got to be the company that did these. May not have made that many games for Atari. Don't know. Anyways, let's see these one. Make sure here. Okay, this one is called Turmoil. This is 20th Century Fox. Games of the Century trademark, and then Sirius, where they got this little troll-looking creature. I do not recognize the Sirius company. I mean, I had the Commodore 128 when I was a kid, so I must not have had any games by then. So, there's one. Mind my camera there. I've got a light literally right above my finger there. Otherwise, I don't get enough light, but it kind of screws with it. And all these, same thing. I had to clean them all up. And got Final Orbit, which this one just says it's made by Sirius. A little bit different cartridge design here. It's got a nice little indent on the end of it, so you can grab or dig your thumb in there to pull it out of the system easier. Nice design. And then squish them. And all these, to me, they'd be like budget games back in the day. They're pretty simplistic, but they're fun. They're not bad at all for just cheap games. And this one, and I gave the thing you have to use with this a decent cleaning, but I'm thinking I need a stylus, but you guys got to see this. Actually, I got to show you something first here, because I thought this was friggin' big. This is my Magic Pad for my Apple computer that I'm on right now. Plenty big, touch-sensitive pad to use as a mouse. Holy friggin' shit. This is like a mouse pad on steroids. And I was getting it to work pretty good, just using my finger, but I'm thinking it really needs some kind of a stylus, so I'm just going to find a pin that's got a nice rounded end to it and use that. I don't think I was pressing down hard enough, but it does work. And I opened it up and all the inside's good. Typical type Atari plug here. And then I've got the cartridge that came with it, Koala Painter. So basically, it's an old school paint program. Thing I could really compare it to, which I'd say like compare it to like the paint program you would have had with like Windows 3.1 or maybe Windows 95 at the latest. You can do just simplistic stuff like lines and fill in stuff or whatever, so it's not a major type paint program, nothing like we'd have now, but cool enough, man, to have something like this back in the day. Oh, and for anybody that doesn't know, I'm not real super familiar with the Atari computer stuff. I mean, I'm just getting into collecting for it, but going back to the original one is I have an original Model 800 which is, where is this son of a bitch? Oh, it's way out of view. It's kind of off to that corner there. Anyways, their games seem to be pretty much compatible from that one up to quite a few different type computer systems. Is one of the games that I already had is for the XE, but it will play on my old school 800 and it will play on one of these new ones and also my 600 XL. So it's almost as long as the cartridge is the same size and looks the same, it'll work. Here's Pac-Man here, and this is one of the really old school carts for the original Atari computers. It has a spring-loaded thing here to protect it. So it's one of those things, if you find it, man, try it out. Worst that'll happen is it won't work. Now this computer, yeah, I just have a very few spots on this where I still got to really scrub down with the magic eraser. Otherwise, it cleaned up really nice. And it works great, and I have not cleaned the keyboard on this. Everything just already worked good, so it was just real dirty on the outside. Anyways, here's one of them. So, all cleaned up, tested and working. Every one of those games played great. And what's nice, would have been cooler if I had two of them, because this thing's, it's built like a freaking tank. And what's nice is after opening it up is I had to do that to clean it. Otherwise I'd have water dripping inside of it. It has a fuse in there, and the main board and power supply part is covered by this huge heat sink. I mean, it's really built good. Didn't have it plugged in again to where it heated up that much, but it probably puts out quite a bit of heat. It's just built really good. Anyways, I have the original power supply here. It came with that model Atari. As your usual plug to go into the wall, and then this type to go into the system itself. Okay, I got the other one in my storage bin. The other power supply that I got is, obviously she had both of these hooked up for the kids. The other one looks like it came from an earlier system, but it has the same type of into it. So, let's see. I think this one breaks down the voltage. Yeah, this one just says output 5 volt DC, 1.5 amps. So, this ginormous fucking thing that if I hung it from a chain, I could beat the shit out of somebody with it, as it's got some weight to it, only puts out 5 volts. Which is weird, because the other one's more like what you'd have for your Commodore 64, where it's multi-voltage, but still not that much. Just shows how much stuff has shrunk down since they made these. So anyways, all clean, shiny, and pearly looking. God damn this thing. This light is not helping me. Hold on, guys. There. All I cleaned was a little bit right there. But starting from the above the cartridge slot there, you can see the discoloration. And once I went over it with a magic eraser, it just lightened everything right up. Otherwise, man, it's just everything. In fact, the other one was nastier. It's just like this all over. Just nasty from sitting in the garage forever, not being used. But this one I haven't tested out yet, but it does power on. So I'm hoping once I give it a good cleaning and stuff and check out the inside, make sure there's nothing in there that'll catch fire like hairballs or whatever. I don't see why it won't work. I figure if one works, the other should work. Oh, okay, here's the other. What's this go to? Oh, okay, this isn't for it. This is what's crazy, man. You really got to know your power supplies when you're getting the original types. I mean, that big ass one obviously goes for one of the computers. These, unless you know the proper voltage and the size of the plug to go into the system, they all look alike. I mean, if it didn't say it, and I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't work. This looks like one that would go for an Atari 5200 game system. It looks the same as the 5200 plug. Anyways, here's one of them here. Small end there to go into one of the, I think this is for the disk drive or something. I got a whole bunch of adapters. She had some in there that were, one of them was a Radio Shack and whatnot. I don't know what those went to, but I'm not getting rid of them. Oh, this will really show how nasty everything was, because all I've done on this is open it to realize that it's pretty much FUBAR. So this is just going to get cleaned up and just set on a shelf as a nostalgia thing. And for what it is, I'd say the one that I had when my Commodore 128 was probably more than twice the size of this. Hey, this is surprisingly small for what it is on the day that it was made. I mean, just crazy. Anyways, got an Atari 1027 printer that unfortunately it's seen better days. There's some kind of knob in here that I don't know if it grabs onto the paper or has something to do with the ink or what, but it had like a rubberized coating around it, almost like a belt type band. That is just totally dry rotted. Everything in this that had to do with felt or rubber or whatever, totally dry rotted just from being around in Arizona. And there's one piece that I'm pretty sure is broken, because if I turn it upside down, it just falls off. Otherwise, it does power on, man, and it tries to work. It just can't. It's too messed up. But I mean, look at this. It's crazy. I just can't believe how small this is for an old school printer. And what type it is, I can't tell. It doesn't look like it's dot matrix. I'm pretty sure the one that I had as a kid was dot matrix, and maybe that's why it was so friggin' big. It literally had that ball type thing in it to where it makes all that noise. So maybe this was a more improved design, but just dinky. But the power supply, once I find it, pretty much looks like the last one I showed you. It's just the plug on it's bigger for where it goes into this thing. Otherwise, I'll still clean it up, man. It's worth sitting on a shelf. It's cool looking. Okay, here it is. Say, man, looking at the plug, I think it's just a little bit chunkier. Yeah, just a tiny bit chunkier on the size of the main part here. The only thing that really stands out is, this says 9.5 volt AC, but the plug that goes into the printer is a hell of a lot thicker. Same thing with the little metal prong that goes in the center there. It's pretty damn thick. So if you found one of those printers working and didn't have this, it'd be a pain in the ass to try and find something else. I mean, that's kind of an oddball size there. Next. And I don't have to tell you guys, it's going to be a long video. Mind me if I'm going slow here. I ended up getting a really bad migraine, and it's only just starting to go away, man. And I took my pills about 3 hours ago. They just took their sweet time to kick in. These here. These just look like they're just plain old dirty. Like, guys just need to open them up and give them a good cleaning, but I'm pretty sure they'll work. There's one ColecoVision controller. Can't ever have enough of them puppies. This one's 2% cleaner. Otherwise, still got to open it up. They're not in bad shape. It's just a bummer she didn't have the ColecoVision. And then, haven't tested these out, but I'm pretty damn sure they'll work. They don't look beat up. They just look like they need to be cleaned a little. But I don't recommend these. They're really awkward, and they're pretty cheaply made controllers. Okay, that's what messed up on them. Let's pull that outside. Yeah, they had a rubber housing that goes up into the grip, and it looks like one of them's totally rotted off or slipped down. As it's happened, they've just rotted, but they're not really necessary. Otherwise, funky looking pistol grip type ones, but the way you use these, they either expect you to be holding it down on a table, so you're pushing down and then using your other hand to hit the fire button, or just to hold it like this. They're just really awkward, so not the best. In fact, I think I got about 5 more of the damn things. At least these ones look like they'll work. They crap out pretty fast too. They're made pretty much the same way as an original 2600 controller, so they got those little metal type tabs in there that they hit for the contacts that wear out. Okay, here is the other computer power supply. Oh, that's what it does. This one breaks it down better. It says pin 6, 1, and 4, 5 volt. Pin 5, 3, and 7 is ground. It still just says output 5 volt, 1.5 amp. Slash. Oh, this one says 1.5, then 7.5 VA. You got me. Anyways, same type of power supply, just for an older Atari computer. This is the same type that I've gotten before. I've never gotten one of those other ones. This one, I gotta look up the voltage again. I'm almost wondering if I could use this on my JVCXI. I gotta see if the voltage matches up close enough. This one's made by Radio Shack. It's 9 volt, 1.2 amp. Polarity is positive to the outside, negative to the inside. But look at the size of this damn thing, man. That's old school Radio Shack there. Okay, this is the cable to go from, I believe, either the printer and or the floppy drive to the computer. In fact, I got a few cables here. I think some of these are modified ones, so you can use different printers. This one's made by Star Electronics Incorporated, Universal Atari Parallel Interface. Same type. Okay, same type of plug, just weird looking. So one end definitely will go into the back of one of the Atari computers, and then it looks like the other end is so you can use a computer that's non-Atari, or I mean a printer that's non-Atari or whatever. It's big ass freaking adapter, man. It's freaking huge. Then there's the end that would go in to the Atari computer. This one's made by, just says cards/AT printer interface for Atari computers. Looks like they're pretty much the same thing. Yeah, this one's just got a smaller end for the printer. Otherwise, same. You know, something handy. Not that I can give a crap about a printer for an Atari computer like I'm going to use it anyways, but I guess they're cool to have. Yeah, not even going to show that. That has nothing to do with any of it. Some of this stuff, I think the lady just didn't know what it was, so she just threw it in the box. And old school coaxial type cable for hooking up like a VCR, which we really don't use these anymore. This one's for Panasonic telephone. Another thing I don't need to show. Okay. Hey, finally another piece of equipment. Show you guys the floppy drive here, and fortunately the cartridges were all I got software and game wise. I didn't get any floppy disks, so I'm just guessing that this probably works. It powered on, made all the right noises like nothing's freezing up, and when I opened it, everything looks really good, and this thing is built really well. And say it's about 2 inches shorter than my Commodore floppy drive. Anyways, this is an Atari 1050 floppy drive. And when I was showing the Commodore, that's what I was talking about on the little switch. That's what I'm used to, not that tab thing that you pull out and then it locks in place. But same thing. This one even easier. All I did was just take the screws out the bottom and then take a screw out here and a screw out here, and this front piece, you can kind of lift it up a little bit. It's hinged on here somehow where this metal piece is, but you can lift it back enough to where you can take off the top half, and there's no metal shielding covering anything up like it was in the Commodore disk drive. And on that head in here that you got to clean with some alcohol, it was already pretty damn clean. This she might have had in a box. It was dirty on the outside, but the inside was pretty clean. But same thing, there's like a spring-loaded mechanism that pushes the floppy disk onto the head. And it's got the same little felt-type tip to kind of hold it in place and keep it from getting tore up. Anyways, same thing. You lift that up, boom, you can get to the head in this thing and just clean it with an air swab and alcohol. And it should fire right up. And this one has a drive select switch, so otherwise it's the same kind of hookup as the Commodore one, to where it's got two I/O connectors on it. So I guess the way you'd hook it up is have this going to the computer, and then if you got a printer or something, or another drive, if you're dubbing up on them to dub discs or whatever, you just piggyback it, which would mean you'd have that big ass freaking power supply plus two more, because each one of these has a separate. Otherwise, pretty much the same kind of setup. But I don't know what the deal is with that switch, if it makes it to where you can only use one thing at a time or what. Don't know. It's the first one I've seen, man. I have never seen an Atari floppy drive. Never. So, really cool to have that. Got one program here that's cool to have for nostalgia, otherwise it's worthless to me. It's Atari Writer word processor program. Box obviously has seen better days, but looked like everything's here. The original book for it. And say, man, no floppy disks. Everything's cartridge based, which is, I'd much rather have a cartridge. So, pretty cool. This I haven't tried out yet because I don't know if you have to have the printer hooked up or what. I'll just pop it in and see what it does. That. Need a bigger fucking desk. Run out of room. Another thing that was really friggin' cool. She had a whole bunch of books. This is Inside Atari Basic. These are always nice to have. I think I had one of these from my Commodore. This is just Atari Basic quick reference guide. It's just a fold out type thing where you can just set it somewhere leaning on a chair, and it just gives you simple things to do, just basics. Has stuff on the other side also, which is cool because I have no idea how the programming language is on these Ataris if you were loading a program. So this is saving me from having to find a 12-year-old on YouTube here that's smarter than I am to tell me how to fucking do it. This is the instructions for that Koala Painter program. Atari XL User's Handbook. Nice, thick book to use something that simplistic. And how to use Atari computers, an introduction to the 400, 800, and 1200. This is Atari Disk Operating System Reference Manual, DOS 3. Oh, this is definitely cool. I'll show this last so I can flip through some of it just to show you some of the other stuff you can get for these computers. It's just Atari home computers, the next generation, and showing the different systems that were out at the time and the stuff you can get for them. So, kind of like a wannabe catalog. And got the original owner's manual for the Atari 800 XL. This one's in a little bit better shape. Got two of them, two computers. And this is definitely old school because it is showing the original Atari 800. Let's see if I can find a date. God, I hate that. They never fucking have a goddamn date. Oh, holy shit, I found a date. 1982. Old school manual there. There's the old school Atari 800, the ginormous beast that if it breaks you can use it as a fucking footstool. Even if you weigh 500 pounds, it's built like a damn tank. Print shop. That's kind of cool to have. I ought to call him up and see if it's still valid. Valuable discount coupon. Good for $10 off with this coupon on any purchase of 50 or more. Do you think it'll work? That it only expired in June 30th of 1985. That should still be worth something. It's pretty fucking awesome. This book for the print shop. And that be it. So, flip through this. here. It's like the catalog. There's a smaller 600 XL. Holy shit, this is going to be a long fucking video. And showing the 800 XL. Jesus Christ, they make enough damn computers. It's the 1400 XL. It's kind of like they just keep stretching it out a little bit more, man. That's pretty much all they did on the design for these, is just stretch it out. Otherwise, they pretty much look alike. Oh, and this one's got all the keys for like reset and help and whatnot across the top instead of down the side. Oh, I bet this is rare as fuck. That's pretty cool. This is Atari 1450 XLD. It has the floppy drives built into it, and they're showing like an empty slot there, like you could slide out the drives and replace it. That's pretty cool. They're showing 3 different printers here. 80 column printer, 1020 color printer. Well, our little thing looks like it's just for doing letters. Dang, it's literally set up like a tape cassette deck. That is crazy. Then they're showing the one that I got, the 1027, which is made for like letter. It just says letter quality. So maybe it doesn't do color. Anyways, different printers there. Say that little one in the middle, it's literally got buttons like an old tape player. And they're showing the Atari 1010 tape player for doing cassette-based games. Kind of like what they have for the Commodore. And then there's the 1050 floppy drive. Shit, it's going to be my longest video yet, man. But I figured you guys would dig this. Atari 1030 Direct Connect modem with modem link. Crazy ass looking modem. An Atari Touch tablet. Then they're showing the extremely shitty Atari trackball, and then the Atari remote control joysticks. And this was an add-on for your keyboard so you can do the calculator type stuff on it. Nerdlets of the past. Showing some of the games here. Oh, these are all learning games. Screenshots. Got Paint, Video Easel, Music Composer. One for learning foreign languages. Typing skills. Atari Touch Typing to teach you how to type. Yeah. A lot of just simple programs. See if they show anything cool here. Alright, here we go. It shows Quicks, Dig Dug, Galaxian, Donkey Kong. Well, I'll have to get Donkey Kong. Looks good. Defender looks good too. I already got Missile Command. In fact, Missile Command on the 8-bit Atari systems, man, it's pretty damn close to arcade. And you can play it with a trackball. Pac-Man is really good on the system. Holy shit. Mind me, I'm looking through this the first time, man, so it's going to be a long video. Yep, 41 minutes. They had an E.T. game that I've never heard of. E.T. Phone Home. That's crazy. I thought they only made one for the 2600. And Space Invaders, Caverns of Mars, Super Breakout, Star Raiders, which isn't bad on the system. Basketball. Yeah, let's see if I can get in here close enough to show you some graphics here. There's Quicks, Dig Dug. Yeah, it's not going to show too good. Let's see if I can show the ET game. Just shows a screenshot there. It's right there by my finger. There's Eddie Torres, the extra testicle standing dead center. Looks like one where you select different symbols to make them do stuff. Maybe you're supposed to build the phone thing. I don't know. It looks totally different than the one on the 2600 that everybody loves so fucking much. Enough to dig a big fucking hole in the ground to find shitty fucked up copies of it. Okay, the rest of it's just bullshit. Anyways, not a bad pickup, man, for $30. Jim always gives me a damn good deal. And I know he got a damn good deal, because for $30 he must not have paid hardly anything for this stuff. I think the lady just wanted to get rid of it. And if only I could have gotten the big Nintendo thing that he had. He got his hands on one of the NES Deluxe sets with Robbie the Robot. Just no NES. So he's just got to replace that. But he's got a Robbie the Robot that looks damn near mint in the box. So really cool. So, I will catch you all later in the next vid, which I have no idea. I have not been getting out to do any yard sales, man. We're having 100+ degree heat here in Kingman, and it's just too damn hot. I can't deal with it. I got out for a little bit today and came home with a bad migraine, so it's just not worth it. I just wait until Jim finds stuff, or until my buddy John at Video Game World finds stuff. As most of them seem to be taking their old video game stuff to him anyways. So, could be a while before I do another vid. Catch y'all later.